Hey everybody, I'm hopping on really quickly just to respond to the post I shared yesterday, specifically around do you care about the opinions of others? Um, I shared maybe about a week or so ago that I was starting a series of conversations called Quit Trippin'. And the intent of this series really is to have conversations with real women who will share things in their lives that they used to trip over and the different tools and resources that they use basically to quit tripping. And so, really excited about these conversations. And of course, as I mentioned, I would never ask them to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. So, I wanted to go ahead and step out there and share with you all what I used to trip over. And I gave you a hint yesterday. And what I used to trip over was the opinions of others. I used to trip big time. And what I learned was it wasn't everybody. It was just a certain type of individual, certain situation where I would trip big time. So here's an example. A couple of weeks ago, I had a session with my therapist, which I love. And I was fussing. I was fussing about a professional situation where I believed that I was being misrepresented, right? And I really wanted to do something about it. Like, I really wanted to address it. I wanted to fight it. I wanted to address the person. I wanted to do all the things, right? And she simply asked me this question in the midst of me fussing. She simply asked me this question. She says, let me ask you this. She said, do you care what God thinks about you or what other people think about you? And I paused for a second and I thought about it because if you've grown up in the church or if you've been around church for any amount of time, I think generally speaking, we have these canned, like real churchy responses, right? So if I was to ask one of the super saints, do you care more about what God thinks or what people think? What would be their response? Right. Oh, I don't care what these people think about me. All I'm worried about is what God thinks. And if God says yes, then it's yes. And if God thinks I'm this, then it's this. Okay. All right. Yep. And that's real churchy. And in some cases, some people may have matured. I ain't there yet, but all right. Praise the Lord for them. However, I didn't give that response. I said, no. She said, no, what? I said, in that particular instance that I was fussing about, where I felt like I was misrepresented and I couldn't do nothing about it, I said, yeah, in those moments, I don't care what God thinks. I care more about what the people think. Now, I know that might be shocking to some that I actually admitted that. And it doesn't mean that I don't believe in God. And it doesn't mean that I don't honor God and really honor his opinion towards me, because I do. But in certain situations, what was revealed to me was an area that I needed to grow in. And so when she asked me that question and I actually answered it honestly, it was almost like I had this sense of like relief. It was really weird that I actually was honest about it and I didn't give that canned response of, no, I believe in what God thinks, because I can say whatever with my mouth, but my behavior shows what I really think and who I really believe and what really matters most to me. Because I could have said, oh, I believe what God says. I do. Well, then why did I spend so much time complaining and fussing about this particular person in this situation if I didn't care what they thought, right? And so what I found that was interesting was that the minute that I admitted that that's where I was when it comes to certain situations, when it comes to situations where I feel misrepresented, right? If somebody says, well, Tiffany's XYZ and I'm not XYZ, like I feel like I need to address that, right? But she said something else to me that I was like, oh, okay, all right. Growth opportunity. She said, Tiffany, Every battle does not need to be fought by you, even if the situation has everything to do with you. I said, oh, you mean I can't fight a little bit? She's like, look, every battle does not deserve your time, your effort, or your energy. And the other thing she said to me that I thought was so dope, she said, and at the end of the day, who you really are. There's some people who can be in a room and they can trash you all day long. There are times where God will place somebody who actually knows you in that space that will advocate on your behalf and say, no, she's not like that. Or even if he doesn't have someone in that space, God knows exactly who I am and what I offer, right? Because he's the only one who really, really knows, right? So as long as I'm minding my business and doing what he has called me to do, then everything is all right. So what I would encourage you all to do, which is what I'm doing, is first step is to be real honest about it. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging that you have a sore spot for foolishness, because we all do, right? But the next step is being aware of it. So now, when I'm in situations where I feel like I'm being misrepresented, or flat out people are like lying or whatever the case may be, I take a step back and I say, all right, remember, every battle does not need to be fought by you. And if it's simply not true, there's nothing you can say or do that's going to convince person A, B, C, or D otherwise. Because there's some people who are just determined for you to be trash in their eyes. It doesn't matter if Jesus himself descended down, put his arm around you, was like, this is my girl, it wouldn't matter, right? So I would just encourage you. Again, as I mentioned, it's a process, right? I'm aware of it now. I'm aware of the situations. I'm aware of what happens, right? So now I know exactly how to pray. I know exactly when to give myself a timeout. I know exactly what self-talk I need to do, because I don't know about you all, but sometimes we are some creative individuals. We can make up some stories that can be bestsellers, I think, because they're so elaborate and so ridiculous. And typically, it's not the best in anyone. It's the worst of the worst of the worst, right? But all of it is a learning process, right? So I just wanted to hop on and share that. I hope it helps. I know I feel great. I feel great being transparent and honest about it. I feel great to know that I know I'm not the only one that is irritated when you feel like you're being misrepresented and you want to defend yourself. But then I'm also someone who doesn't want to be in bondage by the opinions of other people, because I got stuff to do. All right? So it's late. I'm tired. I hope you all were blessed by this. I'll see you soon. Bye.